Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I do hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to tonight's second half. Before we jump into it, a couple quick links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button. It takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon. And folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. They definitely do matter, and they are appreciated. With that, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to the second half, shall we? The other day, I was discussing where a mass amount of people had just gone missing in one area and in one kind of time span. Less than a 18-month period of time. And I had a subscriber who lived, or I still have this subscriber, he lives in the exact location that this was all going down in. And there was a lot that was going on in this location of Virginia at this period of time, Tazewell, Virginia. A lot of strange things, a lot of disappearances, a lot of mutilated bodies. There is caves, a ton of caves in that location, in that area. Also, crazy thing that occurred one day was there was a dogman that had been killed and spotted by a park ranger, also police officers, and about 2 months later there was another dogman, a female dogman, what looked like a female dogman, with a small pup that was found dead at a old mining company in Tazewell. And then the government came in, used the locomotives to bring the bodies to an area in Tennessee somewhere. At that same point in time, half of Tazewell was flooded while the other half was sunny. Unbelievable. All right, guys, tonight I figured we would talk to a local from the Virginia area. I've had him on a couple different times. There's a lot going on in his area, whether it be bodies being found, people missing, farmers shooting dogmen. We got some stuff going on in the West Virginia area. So I decided to bring DJ on to just kind of talk about the area that I've been talking about, because he lives there and he can pretty much give us his opinion of the area and what we are looking at when we're hearing this. DJ, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks for taking some time out of your evening to come on the show with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all that you do on sending me information on what's going on down there. You and one other person are my eyes and ears in the Southwest Virginia area, so I appreciate that.
No problem.
So, I don't know if you heard yesterday, I had given the state police public relations person a call up in, I think, Chesterfield. And
Right.
I kind of said, hey, what's going on? I wish I could have recorded it, but I couldn't. She was aware of the disappearances. But when I said there's been 3 bodies, 2 found in Tazewell and Buchanan County, and 1 in Mercer of West Virginia, which is all within a very small radius. Am I correct on that?
You're very correct.
She was kind of shocked. When I look at a map, when I look at the disappearances, Pocahontas is kind of the furthest away from that area, but it still to me falls in that circle of, I don't even know what to call it, danger.
Danger zone would be what, maybe?
Yeah. So I kind of want to go over a little bit of, we've got a couple different people that are missing. One, we're going to talk about the 2 people that are, or 3 people that are missing right now on this list. And then you can kind of give us a rundown on the area where, the wood size, stuff like that, because you are a hunter. And for those of you that are not familiar, DJ has had a run-in with a couple different run-ins with the Dogman. Your first was when you were hunting. What county was that?
That was Tazewell County.
Tazewell County. All right. And then you and your friend, D, went hunting, and he had a nickname for you, and now he's got a nickname, but
Yeah.
that was at the farm. That was in Tazewell as well, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then you had a farmer friend who had shot a Dogman. 2 actually, friends. One just recently. What county was that in?
That was in Mercer County, West Virginia.
Mercer, where they just found Robert Poor.
Exactly.
And then the first one was in what county? Tazewell or no?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was, your friend D ended up doing something kind of stupid and ended up kind of getting a scare of his life.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a cave that is mentioned by another subscriber who doesn't know you. Well, you guys probably have crossed paths, but he had mentioned a cave. In what county is that cave in? Buchanan?
That's Tazewell.
Tazewell. Okay. And that's where, by Davenport or whatever?
It's in Tazewell, Claypool Hill. It's near what they call a pounding mill.
Okay, yes, okay. So that'll bring us right to Brendan Michael Schools. 36 years old, Tazewell County Sheriff's. Last seen in Pounding Mill, Virginia. His cell phone hasn't been active. Give us a little bit of the rundown on Pounding Mill, if you could. What's the area like?
It's hillsy, mountainous, quite rough territory. I mean, it's the area that stretches between Claypool Hill and the town of Tazewell itself. It's a main highway, it's 460. And it goes, there's so many roads and turnoffs that you can take on a left or right to go to, your own separate destination in different areas. It's followed by the Clinch River, follows 460.
460 is the road that cave is on.
Yes, right off the side of the cave, right there beside of the road.
Right. And I don't know if you remember, but that subscriber from Tazewell had mentioned being on 460. It was either his uncle or someone had seen a fox-like Dogman going into some cave on 460.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. And so Pounding Mill. So for someone to go missing in that area and not being found and possibly calling it a Dogman attack, that wouldn't be too far of a stretch, would it?
No, it would not.
Okay. All right.
Not at all.
And you know what was funny is you live in the area. I kind of found it interesting that the public relations officer, she was very nice. I'm not gonna, down her in any way.
Correct.
But she commented on pretty much everyone being poor in that area and on drugs and depressed.
She's not far from the truth, but it seems like to me she's overshadowed a little bit. There is drug trouble down here, as far as that goes. It's everywhere, but
right.
A little bit more rampant down here in the country, and there's a lot of late bloomers out there, and we're a poor. This county was based on agriculture and mines, and the mines were almost obsolete and all gone. So, there's not a lot around here for exactly the young people to do. So, when they're pried by peer pressure or everything else, and, a society drug is among a people of peers, young or old, of course they're going to find something to do, and they get tangled up in the wrong stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty bad down here.
Right. But, for her to kind of make a broad, I mean, it was, kind of like everybody's, but Eric Smith wasn't. Eric Smith was a reputable gentleman, great job, family guy,
Mm-hmm. I knew him personally.
Okay.
I had met him because the work we used to do for the mines, we were a mining outfit contractor because we contracted out to mines, and I have met him before. He was a very nice, very well-to-do professional man who did his job. He did it well, and everybody liked him. Everybody that I met never had a bad word to say about him.
Yeah.
He was a fine individual.
Anything that I've read about Eric is spot on to what you said. For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, Eric Smith went missing in 2013, November 8th, 2013, in, I believe, Cedar Bluff.
Cedar Bluff, yep. It's the
West Hurt Buggy Road.
Right. It's the adjourning, I guess you'd say, like you have town, like counties, you have towns, like that's their limitation incorporated area, and it joins Richlands where this other boy was found.
Yeah.
And that's where he lived. Okay.
So this guy, and I caught it a couple different things that I'm always looking for the media, kind of the media to kind of steer us away from things. And it was kind of funny that, they emphasized on him going hunting, but leaving his cell phone and cigarettes behind. Now, any good hunter, in my eyes, wouldn't bring a pack of smokes with them. They might bring a thing of chew.
Right.
Or their cell phone. Because you're out in the woods, maybe your cell phone, maybe, but a pack of smokes,
no.
They really focused on that. I mean, if he's hunting, he probably just left them on the counter, not thinking, going hunting. Chances are, if he brought them with him, usually he left them in his truck.
Most likely. Like you said, any hunter worth of salts knows that, a lit up cancer stick, they can smell it a mile away, you're not going to see nothing.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of putting urine, on you if you're going to smoke a cigarette?
Right, exactly.
So this guy, Eric Smith, still missing, Buchanan County, 2013. That area where he went missing, how wooded density is it? Like, what's the area like?
Very mountainous. Some cliff area. It's straight up and down. The honest truth is, it's billy goat territory.
All right.
I mean, you'd have to have a set of ice cleats to stand up on some of it. That's why you're strapped to a tree, because it's very steep. Parts of it very rocky and dangerous. Hollers, that go down into the bottom of it, or cliff field. They're cliff edged. I mean, you can about get killed any way you go. I mean, if you don't watch your footing and you know the territory.
Right. All right. So we kind of covered Eric Smith's area, which, I mean, Eric Smith and Brendan Michael Schools, Pounding Mill. How far is Pounding Mill from Cedar Bluff?
Oh, a hop, skip, and a jump.
Like,
less than 5 minutes.
In a car ride, 5 minutes?
Right.
Okay. So next we're going to take a look at Myra Remy. She is a 48-year-old woman, 47, I believe, yeah, 47. And she went missing out in Buchanan County once again. On, let's see if it offers us a road here. In the Davenport, it just says Buchanan County, Davenport, Indian Creek Road in Davenport County. Or Davenport in Buchanan County, Indian Creek Road.
Right.
What's that about? What's that road? Can you give
Holler road, it's off the beaten path. I mean, it's up in the hills, so to speak. God's country. I'm sure you've heard the expression.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what it is.
How many houses would you say if you had to guess? I mean, like, I'm sure there's houses on the road, but they're not one house, right after another, are they?
No. Down up that sort of area right there, you've got a couple that's within 100 yards of each other, maybe, but the majority of them is spread out anywhere between 300 yards up to a half a mile apart. I mean, it's very spread out, very spread out community.
All right. So, once again, not a stretch for a dogman to be in that area.
Absolutely not. Over that area, from where this part of it, where you're talking about Davenport, another name of it is Council.
Yeah.
It's the right, as you're exiting Russell County, you're entering Buchanan County. A lot of that territory over there is all mining. It's old mine hollers and old mines and strip mines, cliffs, hollers, mountains. I mean, when you look at it from the top up there, as you look over the overlook, it looks like, just like you look out in the ocean, just vast going with no land. That's the way the land looks like. So just mountains and hollers and tops, just going until the sun goes clean out of sight.
So there's plenty of wood, plenty of shelter,
oh my God,
plenty of water, plenty of prey. Correct?
A dogman can exist over there and never ever be seen or suspected.
Okay. She was dropped off. She probably got. I'm thinking they looked into it. The boyfriend, I believe the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, they did a lie detector test. Everything was cleared with him. She was dropped off at like between 2 and 4. I'm thinking probably they got in an argument, dropped her off. She wanted to walk, maybe whatever. But you're on a road up in the hills at 2, in between 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning. And I'm guessing maybe she kind of looked like the type of woman, and I'm not being judgmental or anything, but she looked like the woman that would, wearing perfume, looking pretty. She was wearing a Coach bag. I mean, right there, she's obviously doesn't fit the scenario of poor white trash like the public relations officer was kind of insinuating everybody was like down there,
Exactly.
And it really perturbed me when she didn't say them words exactly, but I knew what she was insinuating.
Oh yeah, any man worth his salt can figure that out. As a matter of fact, in years recent past, Tazewell County had a former sheriff known as H.S. Caudell, and I forgot if it was a Time Life or some kind of book that was nationally well recognized. He made a statement down here about everybody in Tazewell, and so a lot of the adjoining counties were so high. He stereotyped us all as poor white trash, as you said, druggies. He called it coal miners' cocaine.
Yeah.
And since he made that statement, it stuck. And, there's a lot of flack come down over that. And
I'm sure.
He spoke out a term. I mean, you're a sheriff. You're going to see a lot of evil and a lot of bad and a lot of drug charges and possession. That's what you're doing. That's what he did for a living. I mean, he was in the business for it, but you cannot sit back and judge God's good people down here and saying they're all like that, because we're not.
No. You know, you're judging a lot of counties, you know, I mean.
Exactly.
Too statewide, you know, in my eyes, because it just, I don't know, it's really disturbing to me, because there are drug problems everywhere in America,
yes, they
especially nowadays. And like you said, when there's nothing to do, the kids will partake.
Experiment.
Yeah. And unfortunately, what they're experimenting with now isn't weed. It's something far more deadlier and far more addictive.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So, all right. Another guy that doesn't fit into the spectrum of poor white trash is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Cole. I believe it's William Arthur Cole Jr. He was reported missing in Buchanan County once again.
Once again, you're exactly correct.
Reported missing. He went for a walk in the woods near his home in Chicken Ridge, Buchanan County. What's Chicken Ridge?
Chicken Ridge is it's an old mining mountain, basically strip mine, and I think there was mines there years ago. It's just a part of nicknamed Chicken Ridge. It's an old country road, and there's mountains on every part of it, Jeff. From the time you start on it to the time you end, to the left, to the right. I mean, it's nothing on both sides of the road but woods.
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, Buchanan County, I'm not even going to ask the question. It's obviously a spot where a Dogman would be. Now,
exactly.
Funny enough, this guy, they mention the amount of search and rescue that were involved. We had Buchanan County Sheriff's Office, Virginia State Police, Whitewood Fire Department, Knox Creek Fire Department, Jewel Ridge Fire Department, Virginia Department of Emergency Management. I believe this Virginia State Police, they used drones, and I believe they did with one of their, I don't want to speak out of, they used a police metaflight to kind of do a couple of searches, aerial searches for him.
Reconnaissance missions, basically.
Well,
it's all good if what they're saying is all true, Jeff, but you can only see what's available to see. A lot of these areas have abandoned mines and caves.
Yeah.
You know,
how are you going you got to be boots on the ground to really.
Right. I don't think these animals are going to take a human life and sit there and eat them free will in the daggone open where they could be spotted from a road or from the air. They're going to take their prey, far be it God for me to say it's human, to a place that's dark, has coverage, and they feel safe. Just like this man that was found down here in Richlands.
Well, we're going to talk about him in a second. Yeah. Let's just jump onto him real quick. We got Richard Timothy Honecker. That's in your neck of the woods. So
oh, yes, it is.
Richlands is probably your backyard or front yard, one of the two.
Basically.
All right. Where they found this guy, they had searched prior to, and the chief made mention of that. He made mention, which, if you ask me, if you're saying we searched there, family searched there a year before, and now he just popped up. Well, that's kind of got to say something for the search, if you ask me. Did you really search that area? I mean, think about it.
Yeah, Exactly, and the time that he disappeared was the exact sort of around the same time frame you done pointed out that his remains were found, which means they can't say overgrowth and undergrowth would have permitted the search from seeing him, his body or finding, because it was the same when they found him. It was the same when he disappeared.
He was found on River Road section of Richland.
It's a lot of people walk down through there.
Yeah.
And stuff, but it is some parts of it are very mountainous and very, very steep.
Yeah, that's what he had said. It sounds like to me like there's like some like hiking paths and stuff in that
right
area. But here's something. If I'm a volunteer searcher, even a volunteer, like just let's say just me, an average Joe or an average Jeff who has no experience in the search and rescue field, no experience in law enforcement. If I'm walking through and I'm looking in that exact area, I'm going to look in a culvert. That's going to be one of the first places I look, Hey,
Amen.
What's in here?
Amen.
But, these guys didn't do it, which is kind of, it's baffling to me. Now there's a couple more. We got the fella by Jonathan Kelly, Whitewood, Virginia, Buchanan County, once again.
Yep.
I think this guy just went for a hike as well in a wooded area between Compton Mountain Road and Slate Creek. You familiar with that area?
Sort of. It's a rough area. Very rough area.
Rough. When you say rough, what do you mean?
The people over that way are good, God-fearing people.
Uh-huh.
But they're also the type of people to shoot before they'll ask questions if anything goes bumped in the night.
Right. But they're saying no foul play. So if there was a bullet wound, I'm sure this guy was only missing for a month. So I'm sure if there was a bullet wound, they're saying no foul play, which they're going to say all the time. But in my eyes, what they're saying with no foul play is if he's torn up. But if there was a bullet hole, I'm sure they'd say, hey, this guy was shot.
Exactly. Right.
Compton Mountain Road. That just sounds like, I'm picturing just real thick wilderness, briars and crap like that.
Trees and holler. It's very top of a mountain. It's basically about what it is.
Okay.
And it's a very big mountain, and it's steep, straight up and down. Some places in it, it's got some flat play, but for the most part, as I said earlier, it's billy goat territory.
All right. So now we're gonna go into a whole different state. Now, when I say Mercer County to you, West Virginia, are we talking distance, or are we talking, a hop, skip, and a jump away?
There's a little bit of distance, not much.
Like what?
I would say if you want to be in Mercer County from the Richlands area, you could be in Mercer County in probably between 22 to 30 minutes.
Okay. So is it a stretch to say woods all through the area?
For the vast majority, yes.
We all know that Dogman will cross a street if they have to. That's not an issue for them. But we're going to jump into Mercer County, where Robert Poor was found on Sand Lick Road, excuse me.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that area? I know you're not from that.
Sort of, but I know, the majority. I know less about it than, I don't live there, but I know a good amount about it. The area where the man was, there's a place over there called Blue Wheel, which is an extension of Bluefield in Mercer County.
Uh-huh.
And you can turn down this road, and it borders Montcalm, which so does Sand Lick Road. And if you stay on this road and turn off, it's basically an extension between two cities, between Bluefield area and Princeton. And that back road is covered. Well, as a matter of fact, Jeff, not too far from there, there's a four-wheeler trail that goes for miles and miles where people ride all the time.
Okay.
And it's in Montcalm, not far from Sand Lick Road.
Yeah, they're mentioning right here Bluefield man missing. Now, this guy, when they found him, they had a real high-end search and rescue team come in. They had the Blacksburg Volunteer Rescue Group and the Princeton Rescue Squad is pretty elite. When I looked it up, I looked into it, and they seem like they are on their game when it comes to search and rescue. But do you know anything about this? I know you had said to me that, Jeff, they had some sort of high-end search and rescue team involved in this.
Well, they brought in, from what I've understood, they brought in a special unit out of Blacksburg, Virginia, to help recover the body or so that remains, because the area was so steep and hard to get to.
Okay.
Well, and Princeton is well known. Now, these guys, you're exactly right, are on their game. They know their stuff, and they're good at what they do. But now there's rumors, I don't know, you can believe what rumor mill is, but rumors coming out of the Blacksburg area, they're not the team don't only specifically specialize in, recovery, search and recovery. There's also special units for other things that the society won't admit and they don't want us people knowing, such as, some of these people supposedly rumored are armed and ex-military and know how to handle themselves in a good given violent situation if need be. So that's part of the rumor mill too. You believe what you want, put what stock in it, but
like
I don't know.
Search and rescue SWAT team, kind of.
Sort of, yes, okay. Exactly.
All right. I mean, well, it makes sense. Tactical. Look where they're going. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of rough terrain, and I'm sure they know what's out there. And
I'm sure they do.
Send an unarmed group of, search and rescue. Let's send our best out there, out there. And
yeah.
So this radius that I'm talking about, you obviously said 20 to 30 minutes, Mercer County.
Right.
It's not a very big, or it's not a, yeah, it's not very big. It's from Buchanan, Tazewell, Pocahontas, Mercer. That area is not huge. We're not talking the state of Texas big.
No, nowhere near.
We're talking real small. I'm sure you know people from Mercer. I'm sure you know people from Pocahontas. Small communities.
They are small, knit, tight communities.
And the rumor mills are talking. They are talking. I've seen on a couple of Facebook posts, people are really concerned with what's going on out in the woods.
Yes, they are.
They're not saying directly Dogman.
No.
But they aren't saying that it's a serial killer. They're not referring to serial killers, because I read in a comment the other day where I made kind of a statement where I said, wow, 4 of these guys are 36 years old.
Yes, I've seen that.
Which is strange, because, and I'm not going to go Dogman on that, because, and I'm not even going to go serial killer on that, because you'd have to be one really smart, methodical person to
Exactly.
track down 4 guys that fit almost the same description at the same age. We're talking Hannibal Lecter crap, you know?
Yeah, right on. You're exactly right on that statement, for sure.
You know, so, but what I am thinking is possibly some sort of other cover up other than Dogman. Chipping, microchipping. You know, I don't know if it was because a day and a half before that I had talked about the government and the alien agenda chipping humans, and you know, but to me that area would be perfect for aliens of another universe or wherever the heck to locate and abduct somebody very easily.
Right.
On top of dogmen running around and going crazy too.
Yes, sir.
Is there any talk? Okay, we know there's a lot of talk about Dogman down there. Is there any
A lot.
talk of alien abductions or anything like that?
Not a lot. Some people have their theories as well as everybody else, but it's not an outspoken
Has
topic.
people seen anything out there?
I've heard rumors of people seeing things, but it's kind of very harshly frowned on if anybody speaks up.
Okay.
And people saying that, well, we've seen this, and everybody's take down here is little green men, and if you see little green men and believe them, you're an idiot.
Or you're on the hillbilly heroin.
Yeah, I suppose exactly. There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, well, you're from the area. You talk to a lot of people. You are a pro Second Amender. You know, love firearms, and you got a lot of friends that love firearms, and I'm sure you guys bull crap and shoot the breeze. Mm-hmm. What's the atmosphere down there?
It's right now. A lot of people are second guessing going back in the woods. I mean, they talking to a guy the other day, who recently, started listening to your shows and following you, and he's a newcomer, but I know him, and he does a lot of trout fishing. The state stocks trout streams around here.
Okay.
And trout streams already done kicked off, but not as heavy as it will in this month and next. And he's even talking about having second guesses about going into national forest trout fishing because of what's been happening as of late.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, he's a fisherman. He's not a hunter.
Right.
I mean, he has maybe one gun, but he's even talking about going and buying a new handgun to carry when he goes trout fishing.
10 millimeter, baby.
He's talking 10 millimeter or 44 Magnum.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was looking at the map that night when you had sent me a message saying, hey, Robert Poor. No, actually what you said was they just found another one in Mercer County, West Virginia. That's how you put it to me. So I looked it up and I printed out a state by state, county by county maps of West Virginia, Virginia, and Tennessee. And I kind of started looking and I followed the border. And to me, that area is perfect for a hunting ground.
Exactly.
I don't think, I've said it once before, I don't think it's a migration path. I don't know if they migrate, and I'm not going to say they do, and I'm not going to say they don't, because I don't know. But what I do feel, 100% feel, is that it is a hunting path that they are using, and I think they can kind of sense that the law enforcement isn't really paying too much attention.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just recent. I think these creatures
have been there for a very long time. Like you said, they could live out in that area for years and not be seen.
Generations.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that these creatures aren't dumb. They tactfully hunt. They're almost militaristic. And I'm sure generation to generation, they've become aware that the police department and this and that aren't very, keen on going into the woods because they already know what's going on and this and that. And I just think, to me, that makes sense. To me, this pattern of missing people makes sense. I think in the near future, what's going to happen is they're going to find Myra Remy, and I think they're going to find Mr. Cole.
Yep.
And there'll be some kind of BS excuse.
As always.
Yeah, it's funny because they always. I'm wondering if they're gonna put with Myra Cole or Myra Remy, if they're gonna put when they find her that she had been talking about being depressed and this and that, and Mr. Cole was dementia and depressed, and it just doesn't make sense because they're always labeling drugs, depression, suicide to really focus on that, to make the public look, oh, well, that guy's just a scumbag. He's white trash. Look at him. He's, in that way,
exactly.
The
You're
public's
right.
like, well, he got what he deserved. Who cares? They found, gutter trash in the gutter. That's how they're looking at it. And I think that picture they're painting is disgusting because
it don't matter how low of a life form people might consider these people. If they've had scrapes with the law in the past or whatever, they're still a human being and they deserve that respect.
Yeah, exactly. I've met a lot of people from the South, a lot of people in the areas where the label, the stereotypical label is labeled. But I'll be honest with you, the people that I've met from the South are a lot more genuine and a lot more humble than people anywhere else that I've talked to. I mean, I've met great people all around, but
right, correct.
There's something about you folk down there that just, you've got a goodness to you. Even the ones that, I'm sure that even the ones that are addicted to drugs, it's a disease. That's not a crime, it's
exactly.
a disease.
You're right.
And it's just sad. It's real sad what's going on down there.
It is.
Who's
to say these people the powers that be don't know what's going on and know what they are, and to keep them out of people's houses or whatever, more well-to-do human beings. There's not a feeding schedule, and these people could have possibly been sanctioned out,
maybe,
or chipped, as you said, and put in a certain situation, a certain area, in time of night or day, and these creatures somehow know it. There's a pattern, however it may be, by the powers that be have it figured out, and there's actually a selection.
Yeah.
To feed human beings these things. We don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I forget, last year, it was in Canada, I believe, where it was in an affluential neighborhood in Canada, and it was a whole bunch of, air quotes, bear attacks going on, and one guy's home in an upper middle class they found claw marks on the walls of his outer home, on his door, and this and that. And in that area, there's only black bear, and black bear, they claw at things, but the way the claw marks looked was not like a black bear's claw marks. And they quickly shut it down because supposedly the bear was in the middle of this upper middle class town, this and that. I think you're onto something. I think the chipping, though, for some reason I may be wrong, and I'll be the first one to admit that I'm wrong, but that chipping thing feels good to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 guys, 36 years old. You know, like I said, you got to be Hannibal Lecter to be that methodical and that cunning to track and hunt. I mean, on top of doing your homework.
Yeah, you got to be something other than a normal average Joe. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let me ask you, the farm that you've had your encounters on.
Yeah.
Your family owned for a while, I'm guessing.
Yes, sir.
Do you, generations and generations, have you talked to any old timers that know about these things?
I talked to one that is a friend of the family, and there's certain things he will. I just asked him point blank one time, and he totally 100% done a Hannibal Lecter flip move from like a different subject and just a whole different character. Yeah. When I just broadside him with this question. He's a hunter, a trapper. He used to trap all the time. Well, he's been out there in the wilderness for years. That's what he's done most of his life. And he totally 100 stopped me in my tracks and changed the situation around and the conversation. I tried to reiterate. He done it again, but this time he did it with a little bit more sassiness because the look he gave me could have killed me, and I left it at that. He knowed something. He wasn't going to tell me. He wasn't discussing it. He didn't even feel right talking about it. He's either knowed something or something has happened or all the above, and he will not discuss the topic at all. He won't discuss it, not even talk about the possibility of it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just something doesn't make sense in that area.
No, it doesn't.
It's just, you've got to be, you have to be really lacking in common sense to not see it. Or you really have to be completely fooled and paid, like the media is, to lie to the public. You know?
Right.
It just none of it makes sense anymore to me, DJ.
You're exactly right.
Do me a favor. I appreciate you coming on tonight and talking to me. And, you know, I'm not from the area, and I kind of wanted to get, you know, a local's view of the area. Keep your ear to the ground. Let me know what you hear. That way I can share it with everybody.
For sure.
Because I think the more that we get this out there,
yeah,
something may happen. Something may trigger a chain reaction. Hey, well, this is going on. You know, this is going on. Let's look into it. Because like I said, and the quote that this one woman made, and I love this whole, where's Myra Remy? Where's William Cole, Richard Honecker, Brendan Schools, Jonathan Kelly? These are all people in or adjacent to frequent traveled through Buchanan County, poor folk with histories that they were not proud of, who all went missing in the span of 2 years almost. How many more are going missing? Why aren't they searching for these people with the same ferocity of Gabby Petito? Do these lives matter less because their parents weren't middle class, or are because they are Appalachian? Does the local police force care less than the police in other states? I just don't understand. Where are the search parties, helicopters, cadaver dogs, and search and rescue teams? Something about that one statement just really, you know, in the Gabby Petito thing, that really, if you think about it, it really does kind of make you question, because you know, I feel terrible for her family, and it's a heinous crime, and it's a disgusting crime. But the way the world, or the way the country stopped, you know, we're not talking Logan Paul. We're not talking, Markiplier or PewDiePie, big YouTubers. We're talking 50 to 100 subscribers. No one knew who she was,
Yeah.
But because she was young and from an affluential neighborhood and pretty, that the world stopped. And where's Gabby Petito? Well, where's Myra Remy? That's my question. Where are these people? These people matter just as much.
Exactly.
So do me a favor, keep your ears to the ground for me. I appreciate you being there for me and kind of being my eyes and ears in that the area of hunting. I've got to come up with a name for that area because it's just not right. But thank you for coming on, my friend, and please take care of yourself and be careful.
We'll do our best, Jeff, and we appreciate you.
All right, brother. Talk to you very soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
And there you have it, folks. I do hope you enjoyed tonight's second half as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you, and I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is, after all, your support that helps this channel to continue to grow and go, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone is simply treated with the respect that we deserve. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless you all.